Diamonds, long hailed as symbols of nobility and rarity, are treasured for their timeless sparkle and exquisite beauty. Yet behind their glamorous facade lies a brutal truth. The blood, sweat, and tears of countless individuals are buried beneath each precious stone. Blood Diamond is a gripping political action-adventure film that lays bare the dark underbelly of the diamond industry, slavery, massacres, and a decades-long civil war in Africa. It's a compelling, intense, and deeply human story that forces viewers to reflect on the real cost of luxury. Blood Diamond draws inspiration from the book Blood Diamonds, Tracing the Deadly Path of the World's Most Precious Stones by journalist Greg Campbell, published in 2002. Building on the book's themes and historical backdrop, director Edward Zwick crafted a powerful cinematic portrayal of the brutal civil war in Sierra Leone during the 1990s, a conflict fueled by the trade of so-called blood diamonds. The film opens with a glimpse into the life of Solomon Vandy, portrayed by Jimon Hunsu, a Mende fisherman living in Sierra Leone. In the soft light of dawn, he gently wakes his son to get ready for school, a tender moment that captures a father's modest dream for his child to receive an education, become a doctor, and escape the grip of poverty. The serene beach at sunrise, accompanied by gentle music, evokes a sense of peace and hope, a calm before the storm that soon unfolds. That peace is shattered in an instant. As Solomon walks his son to school, their village is suddenly raided by the Revolutionary United Front (RUF), a violent rebel group waging war against the government. This brutal attack marks a turning point, thrusting Solomon into a harrowing journey of blood and tears. The savage ambush leaves devastation in its wake. Villagers are slaughtered. A few manage to flee, and the rest are captured and forced into slavery. Solomon is taken to a diamond mine, where he is subjected to grueling forced labor, while his son is abducted by the rebels and indoctrinated into becoming a child soldier. Director Edward Zwick portrays the atrocities of the Civil War with raw intensity. Executions carried out in cold blood, people dragged from their homes, and entire communities torn apart. Among the most haunting images are the rebels mutilating civilians by cutting off their hands, acts of terror meant to intimidate and suppress voters supporting the legitimate government. These scenes are not dramatizations, but stark reflections of a grim reality, powerfully conveyed through the lens of cinema. Danny Archer, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, is a white man raised in Africa, a former mercenary turned professional smuggler. He supplies weapons to both rebel forces and government troops. With DiCaprio in the lead role, audiences can be assured of a gripping cinematic experience. In fact, most of the films he stars in have earned high critical acclaim, often scoring above 7/10, such as Titanic, The Departed, Shutter Island, and The Wolf of Wall Street. The story begins when Danny is arrested by government forces while trafficking conflict diamonds and is imprisoned in Freetown. At the same time, Solomon Vandy is kidnapped by rebel soldiers and forced to work in a diamond mine. During a grueling day of labor, Solomon discovers an incredibly rare pink diamond weighing 100 carats, valued at over $2 billion. He hides the gem, but soon after, the mining site is violently attacked by both rebels and government troops. Fate brings Solomon to the same prison camp in Freetown, where he crosses paths with Danny. This encounter sets them on a dangerous and suspenseful journey that will test their morality, loyalty, and pursuit of survival. Danny Archer, once under the command of Colonel Coetzee, played by Arnold Vosloo, a powerful and ruthless military leader, uses his connections to secure an early release from prison. During his time in custody, however, Danny overhears a heated exchange between Solomon and a guard. Through their agitated conversation, he learns that Solomon has discovered a massive pink diamond, one as large as an egg, while working in the mines. Recognizing the potential value of this information, Danny arranges for Solomon to be released from prison. The rare gem becomes a spark of hope for Danny, igniting a cunning plan. Yet beyond the calculated motives lies a deeper yearning, perhaps even a desperate one. The hope of escaping this brutal and chaotic world for good. Danny dreams of starting a new life in the West, the place he was torn away from as a child of only 3. In one pivotal scene, Colonel Coetzee coldly tells Danny,
"This is home. You'll never leave Africa."
The words cut like a blade. A stark reminder that no matter how far Danny tries to run, Africa's darkness and his past have already become an inseparable part of him, etched into his very soul. Another key figure enters the story. Maddie Bowen, portrayed by Jennifer Connelly, a courageous journalist committed to uncovering the truth and seeking justice amid the smoke and chaos of Africa's civil war. Maddie isn't just reporting from the sidelines. She's determined to expose the murky underbelly of the diamond trade, the backdoor dealings, the complicity between multinational corporations and armed factions in trafficking blood diamonds. Beautiful gemstones steeped in suffering and bloodshed. Her encounter with Danny is laced with irony and tension. A smuggler and an investigative journalist, seemingly opposing forces, yet bound by a common pursuit of truth. Danny sees an opportunity in Maddie. He proposes a deal. If Solomon agrees to take him to the hidden pink diamond, Danny will help Maddie track down Solomon's missing family. A fragile alliance forms, built on promises, desperation, and the faint hope of redemption. Danny understands all too well that in a chaotic, racially divided Africa, Solomon is just another anonymous black man among millions of forgotten lives. He needs Maddie's help, someone with connections, with access to information that a man like Solomon could never reach. On Maddie's side, she agrees to Danny's offer not only out of compassion, but because she knows this is her chance to get closer to the heart of the illicit diamond trade she's been trying to expose. Behind the promises and mutual exploitation, a fragile yet profound bond begins to form between the three, Danny, Solomon, and Maddie, as they each move towards something far greater than themselves: freedom, justice, and reunion. The journey that unfolds in Blood Diamond reveals even darker layers of the conflict, where each character is driven by a deeply personal mission. Danny seeks liberation from his bloodstained past. Solomon longs to be reunited with his family, and Maddie chases the truth, hoping to awaken the world. Meanwhile, Solomon's son Dia has fallen into the hands of the rebel militia, a tragic casualty of war. Torn from his father's embrace, Dia is educated through violence, drugs, and hate. Slowly, he is brainwashed into a child soldier, a boy who holds a rifle instead of a book, trained to kill without hesitation. Director Edward Zwick portrays the use of child soldiers with haunting realism. These scenes are not just dramatic fiction. They are a raw reflection of one of the most horrifying crimes of our time, turning children into weapons of war. One of the film's most harrowing and truthful scenes takes place in a rehabilitation center, a safe haven where children rescued from rebel forces attempt to recover. But they carry more than physical wounds. Their psychological scars run deep and are not easily erased. Some children remain trapped in absolute silence. Others lash out with bursts of violence or panic. Healing these shattered souls takes not just months, but years. Blood Diamond is deeply meaningful in its storytelling. Each scene feels like a deliberate message from the director to the world. In addition to its powerful narrative, the film's emotional impact is largely driven by the outstanding performances of its lead actors. Their portrayals breathe life into the pain, hope, and inner conflicts of their characters. It's this human core that elevates Blood Diamond beyond a political thriller, transforming it into a poignant and deeply human epic in the midst of chaos. As the film approaches its climax, the three central characters, Danny, Solomon, and Maddie, embark on a perilous return to the mining site where the rare pink diamond is hidden. Thanks to Maddie's journalistic credentials and international reputation, they manage to bypass several checkpoints and enter the volatile conflict zone. What follows is a relentless sequence of tense pursuits, brutal gunfights, and haunting images of child soldiers. Amidst the chaos, Solomon has only one mission: to find his son, Dia. As Maddie prepares to return to the West, Danny and Solomon push forward into the heart of the mines. Their farewell is deeply emotional, a moment of mutual respect, empathy, and unspoken understanding between two men who, despite their differences, have come to share a powerful bond. Director Edward Zwick captures the raw beauty of Africa through sweeping cinematography, letting its vast landscapes accompany the final, harrowing steps of Solomon and Danny's journey. As the trio returns to the mining site, one of the most intense and suspenseful sequences in Blood Diamond unfolds. Solomon sneaks into the rebel camp in a desperate bid to find his son, Dia. The emotional weight of this moment is crushing. He must confront his own child, now unrecognizable, hardened by indoctrination, and unable to recognize his father. Solomon is soon captured by the rebels. Meanwhile, Danny and Colonel Coetzee launch a full assault on the rebel camp, igniting the film's explosive final battle. Chaos erupts in the diamond mine as gunfire rains down, turning the entire rebel base into a hellish war zone. Amid the carnage, Solomon fights his way through the flames and bullets to reach Dia. The tension is suffocating. As the conflict reaches its brutal climax, Coetzee takes Dia hostage, threatening his life in exchange for the hidden diamond. What follows is a brilliantly executed deception by Danny. a clever ruse that not only turns the tide of the standoff, but also showcases Leonardo DiCaprio's riveting performance. In a final act of courage and sacrifice, Danny, Solomon, and Daya manage to escape into the mountains. The film concludes on a deeply moving and profoundly human note. In his final moments, Leonardo DiCaprio delivers a performance of remarkable emotional depth. His character, once numb from war, greed, and guilt, allows a flicker of compassion and humanity to shine through. It is this quiet redemption, this vulnerable honesty, that leaves a lasting impact on the audience. Blood Diamond doesn't just end. It resonates. It asks us to reflect not only on the cost of conflict, but on the resilience of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable brutality. Blood Diamond is the story of three people bound together by a rare pink diamond. But beneath that premise lies a searing indictment of exploitation and injustice on the African continent, long after the end of colonial rule. This is not merely an action-packed thriller. It is a deeply human and thought-provoking film, one that powerfully portrays compassion, resilience, and the yearning to live with dignity. The film's message about blood diamonds forces viewers to reflect. Behind their sparkling beauty lie bloodshed, tears, and dreams that were never fulfilled.